Hey guys, welcome to Adobe Live. I am here in my studio with my co-host Teddy Bear. I'm Shauna Lynn. Before I jump in too far, can you guys hear me? I know that I heard yesterday I was a little quiet. So if my mic is too quiet, just tell me and I will do my best to raise the levels. Hi Tim, hi Josh. I see Julia, Sean, Aboraya, is that right? Ayush, Daniel, Sally. Hi guys, it's so great to see you. Teddy Bear says hello. He's the best coworker ever. I'm here on day 2 of my Adobe live streams, and we're doing just some hand lettering 101. And I am doing today the 36 days of type. Today, technically, I think is supposed to be number 1. I'm admittedly very behind. I've been doing it at my own pace, and I just felt like it was very necessary to keep doing it that way. But before we get started, we do have a really great day ahead of us today. We have Hand Learning Basics with me, followed by the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with Voodoo Val, Drawing and Painting with Anna Davis Court, the Daily Creative Challenge in Illustrator with Paul Traney, Adobe Live UI UX Design with Jesse Showalter, Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge with Howard Pinsky, and Sketch Party with Kathleen Martin. So, let's see, where's everyone from to? I want to hear where everyone's from, because, for me, it's morning. I know I saw in here someone said good evening, so, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good midnight, depending on when you're joining us. I'm really excited to get started on this today. I hope you guys will join me, too. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be an interesting deviation from some of the 36 days. Like I said, I'm very behind. I'm only on D, and that's because I'm trying something very different, very out of my comfort zone with it. Thank you for sharing your dog with us. Of course. Here, you can have some more of him while I explain what's going on. This is Teddy Bear for anyone who missed it. This is Teddy Bear. Let Teddy do the drawing, yeah. No, he just keeps falling asleep on my lap, so I'll probably let him go on his bed. Isn't that right? But yeah, so I've been doing very illustrative lettering. So there's lettering, there's calligraphy, there's a lot of the times you see the very standard, just draw a letter, add some designs, go from there. Illustrative lettering is a lot of fun because it is taking something like the word water or the letter W and making it look like water. So we're going to try that today. I'm jumping around and I'm doing F instead of D because I've been creatively stuck on D. So I'm going to do F. I'm doing a floral arrangement, but I'm going to show you kind of what I've done before. You could boost the levels a tiny bit more. Okay, let me do that really quick. How's that? Is that better? Yeah, but this is Teddy. So I'm in Austin waiting to hear from my students. Teaching art remotely is challenging, especially without a teddy bear. Yeah, having a teddy makes things very, very easy. Here, bud. Let's give you a cookie. We'll go put you down. Here's your cookie. Go get it. He's a very good sidekick. He's a very good studio dog. Yeah, so much better. Yay! Good. We've got it down. Okay, so I am going to hop onto my screen here. So I'm going to show you the ones I've done previously. I'm using an artboard again. So if you tuned in yesterday, you'll see that you saw that I used an artboard, and it's just so I can throw everything onto my pages if I were working in Illustrator, but it just allows me to kind of consolidate how much stuff I've got going on, and it makes it very easy for me to see everything. You can do it. Go up. Go on. Go on. Sometimes his stairs are challenging. He did it. Yay. So when I did A, I was just thinking of the word adventure, and I thought, well, adventure, camping, little squirrel, Boy Scout. That would be cute. So I just ran with it, and I was really proud of this one. And it's been a few weeks since I did this one, but I'm still very proud of it. And then I did B, and I did bees. So a honeycombed shape bee. And this one took me a few hours to do these, so there's no guarantee that I will finish this on stream today, but it's at least a really good start. I see. Hi, Munir. How are you? I know you're a regular here. Hi, Stefan. Is it Stefan or Steven? Hi, Ashi. Hi, RB. Working from home alone in the UK. Wish I had a teddy bear to keep me company. Listen, Teddy has an Instagram. He could keep you company remotely. Yeah, so I did this bee. And what did I do? What did I do? Did I move? I did move that. Darn it. Okay. And I'm really proud of how this came out too, because all of these for me have been experiments. Because you have to be creative. Ching. And then the C, this one actually took me forever. I think I took several days to do this because I just kept getting stuck because I put so much in it that it ended up being like I got stuck on the color and then I got stuck on the style and all that. So this one took me the longest, and that's when I stopped for a while because everything in the world started happening and I wanted to avoid burnout. So here we are. So I'm jumping ahead. I'm skipping D and E for now. I'm going to be doing them eventually. D, I was trying to do ducks, and I was trying to make the D out of, what are those? The cat of nine tails, the fuzzy little corn dog looking plants. I was trying to make it out of that, and it wasn't quite working, so I'm thinking I might do deer and then just draw the D out of, like, twigs. And E, I haven't even thought that far, but we're going to do F today. So I'm going to turn these off for now. Turn on my reference. If you're watching on YouTube, I can see the chat, but we're all chatting over in Behance. And those are the comments I'm responding to. So if you're watching on YouTube, come over to be.net/live and come join us over in Behance where the party is. Where are the cool kids? So before this stream, there we go. Before this stream, I went on Adobe Stock and I picked out some flower references, especially anything that had a trellis, which is this little it's the wooden slat thing, or sometimes it's wire or metal or what have you, and it's what people use to make their plants climb. So I'm thinking I'm going to make the F look like a trellis. And then I'm going to put flowers in and around it and just make it really happy and really exciting. Man, I love the texture of the corn. It looks like a warm little blanket. Go wrap myself up in a little blanket of corn. Yeah, so Hannibal Nectar. No, Tim, you're too good at these really bad, like, puns. You're too good. But yeah, so these are all pulled from Adobe Stock. You can see the little number in the corner, so if I ever need to buy them, I could always just go on Adobe Stock, type that number in, and boom, there it is. So I'm using a brush of my own making. However, you can do all of Kyle's brushes. Kyle, you can get them by going up to your brush settings, hitting this little tool, and going to get more brushes, and that will take you to the Kyle Webster page on Adobe and give you a ton of things you can work with. So he's got these like really nice, really sweet looking pieces. Like this one, I love this new pastel to add texture to my work. Also, if you were with us yesterday, I wanted to show you, this is what the final looked like. And I can already tell you that I'm going to go in later this week after I've stepped away from it for a few days. And I have an idea that I want to try where it's going to make the letters kind of glow. So it's something that I can just tell you right now. It's probably going to drive me nuts, but I am going to try it. But that's what I have going on. But that was yesterday's piece. So today we have 36 days of type. So you can use Kyle's dry media. That will very much mimic my pencil brushes that I'm using. So I'm going to start out just kind of by making a skeleton of the F. Yeah, Josh, it's so nice here right now. I mean, okay, so it's 30 degrees outside. It's very cold. It's very cold, but the squirrels are out. Teddy almost chased one this morning. He saw it through the window, and I had to pick him up, and his whole little body was like, let me at it. So I had actually to leash him for the first time in a while, because I usually just let him out back and I walk with him while he goes to the bathroom. And if I hadn't, he would have taken off after the squirrel. But there's birds. Like, I scared a flock of like 7 birds that were outside my sister's window eating bird seed. You can see all the little buds starting to come on the trees. My mom threw tulip buds, or like little tulip bulbs, into the grass or into the dirt last year before all the cold and stuff came, and we have tulips blooming. It's really interesting to see how things are suddenly growing. Like, I grew up in Florida. We had 2 seasons, summer and hurricane season. So it was like I've never experienced autumn and winter and stuff until last year, and I moved here in November 2018. So I moved here just before winter started. So I got to see a little bit of changing leaves, and that was about it. And then it was just winter, and then it was polar vortex, and then it was more winter. So going in there, it was really nice this past year to see these blooms and buds and stuff take bloom, and see like life come back to the world, and then watch it all die again. But it's really interesting to see how different, like, areas that you drive every day, how different they look when they're covered in leaves and flowers and things, and then when they're covered in snow. Like, it's night and day. It's really wild. Here we go. We're gonna do this and this. And then I'm going to try and just keep these pretty evenly spaced. Actually, this one's got to go up a little higher. This is an experiment. I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to do, and if you're doing 36 days of type, and you're doing this alongside us, maybe that's got to go here. You can hashtag it 36 days of type. I'm going to run out of space. I love your letter style, very Dr. Seuss looking. I love it as it is, but maybe you could make the little points outside the words glow like light bugs, some yellow and green maybe. That's not a bad idea. My initial idea with yesterday's was I want to draw, if you've seen the Harry Potter movies, how they do the Patronus and the smoke behind the Patronus. So I want to have like a little glowing Patronus animal, like a rabbit or something, at the top, and then have its trail kind of going through the lettering, and where it crosses over the letters, it kind of brightens the letter, and everywhere else it's a little darker, so it adds some really nice dimension. In my head, it looks great. Whether or not, like, head to hand it's gonna work, I don't know, but we'll find out. But yeah, so if you want to join along with me, like, you're not required to stick to what today would be, because frankly drawing a number for me would have been very, very boring. Let's see, this has got to connect down here, this has got to connect here. We're going to make this just a little wider. And if you're doing illustrative type too, like, feel free to like tag me at the end, because I would love to see it. And then tag Adobe Drawing. There, okay. So I'm just going to keep this really loose right now. And most of these you're going to see they're sort of nested into something. Like, there's always something holding it up. So, oh, thanks, Tim. So I can either just, like, I can have it just sort of like sitting in grass, which is an option, because we don't have to obey the laws of physics. It'll stand on its own. It's our own little world. It's our world, and we can do what we want. Other option is, I saw this really nice box, and this is something that I would put in my own garden if I had the opportunity. So I could also, I'm going to copy and paste this. So I could also, in theory, throw it into, I hit the space bar too quickly, you guys. I could also, in theory, throw it into a box. Erase this stuff. So I can, in theory, throw it in there, and then you could have grass and things coming out of there, and then you'll have, like, flowers and leaves and things. If I do this one, it'll be a lot more... Let's see. Also, I've been playing Animal Crossing like crazy, so I'm like using this as an idea for my little gardens. So I would have like a lot of large flowers around it too. I have to pay your respects. Oh, that's such a Reddit thing. Okay, guys, I don't want to be the only one participating. No, everyone else should join in. Join in with me. Let's party. Let's have fun. Do P for party and then draw it to look like a party hat. Or draw a P with a party hat on it. Ideas. Take them. We're doing fun things today. I don't know. Which one do you... This one feels too structured. This one kind of makes me really happy. And I think that's going to be a really good one to go with because I can use like leaves and things to really push this outwards. And then I can also do like, you know, bushes and things, and I can do flowers and just really keep it really fun and really loose. So I think I'm going to stick with this top one here, but I'm going to focus on rendering out the F first, just in the off chance that we run out of time, because you have me until 9 a.m. Pacific, so we've got about an hour left at this point. So I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to turn off this layer. I'm going to increase the size of this one. And what I would end up doing, because increasing it in my square through the F off center, I would take this and I'm going to rotate it. I'm not going to scale it. I'm going to rotate it because I don't want it. There we go. Because I don't want it to throw my F way off center. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to use some of these flowers and things here as inspiration. I think there's a lot of really fun things to work with. Like I really like, it's not a great picture because it's watermarked and it's blurry, but I really like these leaves here. They've just got a really nice fun edge to them. So I'm going to draw at least a couple. We're just going to draw that in. And what do you guys think I should render the trellis out? Should it be wood or should it be metal? Because if it's wood, I get to show you how I draw wood. If it's metal, I get to show you how I draw metal. But I think wood is kind of a lot of fun. It's just a little more tedious. But like, F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. Our unexpected SpongeBob. U is for uranium bombs. N is for no survive. Sorry. I feel like Plankton's version. Yeah, so like wood or metal? What do you guys think? I'm not gonna draw bamboo. Bamboo is boring. It's not boring. It's super tedious, and I have done it before, and I want to draw like wood or metal first. Hi, Anna. Down here in the deep sea. There's a TikTok trend going on right now where there's a scene where Squidward goes, "And why aren't you in uniform?" And so people they walk out and they step back and then they walk out like in their cosplay. It's really funny. To me. I'm very, simple things make me happy. Yeah, if you guys are here, are hanging around, definitely tune in to Anna's stream. She's going to be illustrating again, and she's a fantastic illustrator. She's also a former Adobe Creative resident, and she's just overall wonderful. I got to meet her a few years ago when we were both at the Icon conference, which is an illustration conference that changes venues every other year. So this is the year it's supposed to happen, and it's a little tentative right now. So I'm just holding out hope that it does happen, but it's going to be in Kansas City. So I'm hoping it happens because I really want to see my illustration friends. But that's how Anna and I first met was Icon, and we geeked out over each other's technology that we had, and then we shared brushes and things because that's what friends do. Okay, I'm going to pull this over just a little bit because I was talking yesterday about like optical measuring. If this were exactly centered, it would go right here. And right now with how I have it laid out, it looks off center. And so I like to bump it over just a little bit optically. So this is this is optical measuring. You're just using your eyes to kind of determine what feels right. Because if I centered it and it was here, this would feel very off and it would feel very unbalanced. So you can do standard measuring and equal, but that doesn't always work. Sometimes you just, especially once you throw color in, if it's really heavy on one side and not so much the other, like you do want to be able to like just tweak it a little bit and pull it so it's not, it doesn't have to be like measure perfect. Yes, we're going to live stream together soon. We're going to do Harry Potter stuff because we love Harry Potter. So I'm going to take this down and I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to this is my sketch layer. I'm just going to name that so I don't lose it. I don't normally name my layers, but if I have groups, sketch, there we go. I don't normally name my layers, but if I have groups, I will name the groups just so I kind of know what's going on. And honestly, like the hardest part I've had is getting color down. Color is very, very hard for me. And I'm not afraid to admit that because I scream it on Twitter a lot. I did it the other day and I just wrote, color is hard. Because I'm frustrated with how long it takes me to nail down colors. But I feel like it's like eventually I think it's going to ease up. But even there are people that have chimed in when I asked it a while back. I was like, does color ever get easier? And people that like whose illustration work I looked up to wrote back and they're like, no. And I was like, that's both reassuring and not reassuring. If you guys are hanging out on YouTube, come join us over at be.net/live. That's where the party's happening. Hint, hint, bring Teddy with you as well. Shauna and Anna Davis Court. Oh, trust me. If I live stream, Teddy's in the frame at least once. I taught a lettering workshop online last week, and I kept, during the exercises, I'd walk over and I'd grab him from my bed, and I'd put him back on camera. Right now, he's curled up as can be over on my bed, and so I'm not going to disturb him, because that would be sad. He's all cozy now. He had a snack. And now he's happy. I took him on a walk yesterday, and he was just so happy to get outside. He's not one that he doesn't like to walk all that often. He's got a bad shoulder, so it irritates like an arthritis thing he's got going on, and he gets a little limpy. In the neighborhood I live in, we've got like massive hills, so it's hard for him. But he still did it. He was a little trooper, and he had fun. He was just very excited to get outside and sniff things. Once it warms up a bit, he and I are going to spend more time on the porch, because it'll be really nice out and warm, and I won't freeze my tuchus off when I'm out there. Okay, so let's see how that's looking. What's that? When did I draw that? There we go. Okay, so here's where this is going to get a little more difficult, because I have to go all the way down. But I took this illustration course online a while back, and it was in, I think it was in Korean. So it was a translated class, and I had to watch subtitles. So I watched the exercises rather than like listen to and try to read subtitles while I was watching what they were doing. But I learned how to like draw wood and draw stone, and it just became like an obsessive thing for a few weeks where I was just drawing wood and stone and random things, because I was like, look, I can do it. I can do it finally. But so what are you guys working on? If you're working on your letter, what letter are you drawing? And if you're not working on your letter, why? Or are you just doing, if anyone's doing the work and lurk? Or you just pop in, say hi, and then you disappear into the abyss and you just sit and watch while you work? That's also acceptable. I do that a lot. I did that on some of Anna's stream yesterday. Unfortunately, I missed the sketch party. I had to help take some groceries down to my aunt and uncle, so I missed the sketch party, but I'm hoping I'm gonna try and tune in today, because I'm gonna just do a lot of drawing for myself later today, because I have not taken time to do that. I played Animal Crossing last night to just like shut my brain off. I think I ended up on the southern hemisphere. It was nighttime and I was on an island where it was daylight, but I couldn't catch a fish because everyone kept popping in and out. So it was like every time I had a fish on my line, it was like, someone's trying to come in, and it would let my fish go. But I bought clothes for my character, and it looks like me now, and I love it. I wish he could speak for himself. Teddy, I wish I could bring you here with me. I mod the stream. Does that count? Yes, it does, Tim. You're a fantastic mod. You and Voodoo Val are among my favorites. I wish he could speak for himself. If only I could learn his language. With Teddy, it's weird because like with dogs over the years that you have them, it's almost like you develop like your own way of speaking with them, and you can tell they know what you're thinking, and you know what they're thinking, and it's really weird. Like he was adopted. He was a rescue dog, and he did not look as cute as he does now. He was very much a mess, but he needed a home. He was only like a year and a half old, and I had just gotten fired. His gotcha day is on the 6th, so next Monday. So it's his big celebration day of when I got him in my life. But our first week together was really weird because we didn't know each other, and there was a decent period of a few months at like where we were slowly getting to know each other. Like the first week I'd be in the kitchen and I'd see him peeking around the corner. And so I'd say, you can come in, and he'd walk over and he'd join me doing whatever I was doing. When I had breakfast, I'd invite him up on the couch, and he would sit down and he'd put his head on my knees. It was very slow, but we slowly got to know each other, and I got to understand like his little quirks and his personality, and he got to know me. And now it's like I can kind of look at him and I know what he's thinking, and it's really weird. But it's fun too, because he and I we're very much a pair. But he can be very independent. Like he loves my dad. And he'll go upstairs and he'll go hang out with my dad if he's bored. He gets along with the other dogs. If I'm unavailable, he'll go hang out with my sister. Cats know exactly what you're thinking and saying. They simply don't care. That's what I've heard. Is that a part? Dorina says, is that a part of the 36 days of type challenge? Yes, it is. We are doing 36 days of type. Today is not F. It's supposed to be 1. I'm very behind. I'll show everyone. It's kind of popping in. These are the ones that I have done previously, so I'm only on D. I didn't want to do D today. I wanted to do F and make flowers and make a trellis. So that's where we're at. But I've done A, B, and C so far. A and B are honestly my favorites. But I'm having a lot of fun playing with very illustrative type, which is basically just like illustrations that look like the letter. So you're focusing, instead of like the actual letter itself, you're focusing on creating like a W out of water. Things like that. But illustrative type to me is actually really fun, and I think it's my favorite of the type I do, but I haven't done it. I don't think I've really done it for more than a letter at a time. So I've not done like, if I do the whole word, like water, I've not drawn water, the whole word, to look like water. So I think that's something that'll be like the next frontier, the next thing I try doing. Well, you have connection. Yeah, he and I have a very good connection. He's a good buddy. His full name is Mr. Teddy Bearson. But I call him Mr. Teddy Bear, Teddy, or Bubba. Because he's my Bubba. Hi, I'm new here, tuning in to see what it's all about. Well, welcome, Dirk. It's great to see you. It's basically you're watching and learning while creatives draw. So we have several more streams coming up today. I'll pull up the schedule real quick just so everyone that's coming in can see. We have Hand Lettering Basics with me, followed by Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with Voodoo Val. We've got Anna Davis Court with live drawing and painting, and she's in the chat. She's awesome. Voodoo Val's awesome. Really, everyone on this list is awesome. And I've had the pleasure of hanging out with 4 of the 6 people that are streaming today. They're just great people. We then have Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge with Paul Traney, Adobe Live UI UX Design with Jesse Showalter, Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge with Howard Pinsky, and Sketch Party with Kathleen Martin. So I received mine too 10 years ago. She is like 13 now, super healthy for her age, is married. Yeah, dogs are smarter than they let on. My sister's got a golden retriever who is she's too smart for her own good. A very, very sweet dog, but she lives with 3 little dogs, so I don't think she fully comprehends her size because the rest of them are little. There's 2 Yorkies and my dog, so I don't think she quite realizes that she's giant. All right, so we've got these. So now I'm going to draw the crossbars, and I'm going to use a slightly darker shade of brown. I'm going to rotate my canvas while I'm at it too, because it's much easier for me to draw. Wow, these are really skewed. Oh well. It's much easier for me to draw down on a line than it is to go across. So I'm going to go down. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a wonky gait, but that's okay. It's still a really good gait. And then I'm going to show you guys a really fun trick that I use to make it go in front and behind. So it alternates. I'm not exactly sure if that's what they do, but my reference disappeared. That's the one downside of the... Oh no, my reference didn't disappear. I rotated the canvas. I am not awake. I created a composite yesterday with my dead brain. Good job. Those times for classes must be PSD. Yes, if you are on Behance and you look at below the video, you should be able to see what's coming up next, and it should be in your time zone. Because when I look at it, it's in my time zone. This is awesome. Thank you for teaching us. Of course. It's fun for me. I'm trying to get as much done as I can. So we get to see kind of the whole process in general. But even if I just finish the F and I finish the flowers later, that also works. I don't normally do this, but just for the sake of timing, I think I'm going to draw 3 of these and then I'm going to step and repeat them. It's cheating, but not cheating, because I don't want to spend the next 10 minutes just drawing the same bars over and over again when I could get into detailing. And detailing is where it gets really fun. So I'm going to, if I have 3 bars, it won't be so obvious that it repeats. If I have 2, it's generally a little more obvious, but if I do 3, it's not as obvious. And then where it cuts here, I'll cut them down. I'll use the trick using the grave key to use my pencil as an eraser. If you don't know what the grave key is, it's that one. I learned that yesterday from Tim, and it's completely changed my life. But what it'll do is it just turns your brush into an eraser so that you keep that really nice edge. So I'm gonna just I've done a lasso tool. I'm about to just hit V, which brought up my move tool, and I'm gonna hold down Alt, and I'm just gonna drag, and I'm gonna keep doing that. Adobe should also mention the time with GMT. I think if you just, like, Adobe's located in the Pacific area, in the Pacific time zone. So they do have all their classes in PST. So, like, I have to think about them 2 hours behind me. The best thing, I'm pretty sure that your Behance account should show it in the correct time zone. And if not, check your settings because you might be able to set the time zone in there. Kevin says, my daughter has shown an improving in her drawing skill. I know she would love to be able to have this interactivity. Long story short, what pen and sketch pad do you recommend? Honestly, anything. In terms of like analog tools, I really like Bic pens. Do I have one right here? I don't. Oh, it's like all the way on the other side of my desk. Just a standard like Bic click stick pen is my favorite thing to sketch with. Followed by there's these lead pens you can get. And it's just like a lead. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's just like a big stick of lead. I love using these for quick sketching in pencil. Hi, Adobe Live. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. In terms of, honestly, like in terms of if you're thinking like digital tools, there's a lot of things that work. And like I started with an Intuos tablet like way back when. I started with an Intuos tablet, and oh no, now I need to figure out where they end. Okay, I'm going to turn down the opacity just while I do this, and I'm going to cut it off here, and I'm going to cut it off here, cut it off here. Right now, I mean, I would say if you can get her an Intuos tablet, she's gonna have, it's gonna be screen up here and drawing down here, but that's a great intro tablet. They have some that are really good for like young artists. As far as paper and pen, like I use computer paper and a Bic click stick pen. I'm not very picky. Okay, so I'm gonna increase my size here. I'm gonna hold down the grave key again, and I'm just gonna erase all this. And then I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna adjust these too, because they're going a little further down than I expected them to. And it would probably be faster if I just lassoed and deleted, but I don't like doing things the easy way. That's never been my motive. Okay. So now I gotta go in here in the first one. So this layer, and I just gotta take it down a little bit. Aw, he just climbed down his little stairs. He's just chilling on the floor now. Okay, so if I take this up in opacity, so we have our F. I'm going to erase this bottom one. I don't think this one's necessary because I'm going to cover this with little grass pieces. Let's see. Intuos is what my high school students use, and they've worked out great so far. Yeah, I mean, I've done that for ever. Yeah, I used it for years before I got a Cintiq. All the Cintiq did was make my drawing more accurate. All right, I'm gonna duplicate my top layer. I'm gonna bring it down behind this layer. So if I drop it down, you'll see it's there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a mask on my layer, and I'm gonna just start painting out every other. Oh, nope, there we go. I'm going to paint out every other one alternating. And see how quickly that starts to look like it's like a basket weave almost. And generally, you'll see these don't do that. But I want it to have a little bit of fun visual, I want it to have some fun visual interest. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? You want to come up? Come here. Come here. Come here. We have a friend. We have a friend. Ooh, careful, bub. There. Where to put my pen? There we go. I've been using my mouse. After my Mac update, my Intuos won't connect. Go to the Wacom website and see if there's a driver update. Because generally, if that's the case, there's you're missing a driver. Because sometimes the Wacom app won't always update with it, and you have to do it manually. I'm assuming the pen is included. Yes. Yeah, the pen is included. It used to be, and I don't know if that's still the case, but you could buy different pens for the Wacom tablets. Now that they have the Pro Pen, I'm not sure if that's the case anymore, but I used to have one that was like their inking pen, and I really liked the profile of it. What are you doing? I'm looking it up. Meow. Good morning. Hello. Now he is off. LOL. Yeah, he's chilling in my lap, so you won't really see his head unless he pops up higher. But they're also, you know what? I think no, it's not the first Tuesday of the month. That's next week. Okay. First Tuesday of the month, they have there's a tornado siren test that they do all over the county. And it really freaks all the dogs out. To be fair, it sounds really creepy, but I thought my brain, I think it's June already. It's not, but it feels like it should be June. And so mentally I was like, oh no, tornado siren test today. That's not going to be good. Hopefully they can't hear it. And I just realized you guys aren't going to hear it because it's not happening. I have Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Can I use that to try to draw something on PC? I don't think so. I have worked on the Samsung Galaxy Note, and you can download Adobe Sketch for it, and you can import your Photoshop brushes and draw directly on the device. I have done that. I have a whole project I have a whole project in my Behance where I did that. All right, I'm gonna start adding in just a little bit of shade where these crossbars happen. And then we're going to go here. I'm going to zoom out and see how that looks. Yep, there we go. Now we're adding in this, we're adding in a darker shade of brown, and it's just gonna, okay, update. We have a tornado warning here. Oh goodness, Ashi, stay safe. If you have to jump off, jump off. Like, we will be here. There is a replay you can watch later. But just be safe. I'm assuming you have bad weather there, wherever you're at right now, huh? And just, I want to make sure we don't run out of time. Got about a half hour to go. I'm going to start showing just like how I would render this out. So I'm going to select this brown. I'm going to start rendering it on these darker ones. I'm going to take my color down just slightly, just enough that it'll show up against it. I'm going to rotate my canvas. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to start drawing in random lines. Are you using pressure sensitivity on your stylus? I am. I have pressure sensitivity set in there. And all that does is let me really utilize the levels of my brush. Raining here in Madrid. Oh, I'm sorry. We apparently had a thunderstorm roll through here overnight a couple weeks, or last week. I slept right through it. I was out like a light. It's weird here though, because we have rolling thunder versus like the clash thunder that we'd get in Florida. And it's a lot more peaceful up here. All right, so I'm gonna reset my view. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit. Wrong key. So you can see how that starts to look like wood, and it looks really fine. I love this garden fence letter. It will look so natural with the nature around it when finished. I hope so. I'm hoping it kind of looks like a children's book drawing. That's my goal. What was the drawing course you mentioned learn about stone and woods? I have to look it up. It was one that has been advertised on my Facebook like crazy. I think it was a course on like class 101 or something. But I'm pretty sure if you go on YouTube and stuff too, you can search how to draw wood and how to draw stone, because it's really not as hard as it would seem. Because what you end up doing, once you've drawn the lines in, you grab your color and you go just a little bit darker. And you add in just a few spots to give it a little more depth. And then actually, one thing I didn't do yet, and I'm going to do this, is I'm going to create an adjustment layer. No, what is this called? A clipping mask. I'm going to create a clipping mask. I'm going to grab Kyle's new pastel brush. I'm going to grab this color and I'm going to lighten it ever so slightly. And I'm just going to paint in some texture. Just a little bit. And if I find it's, I switched my color by mistake. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you find it gets a little too light, you can always take down the opacity. But that will it takes it up that extra little notch. Speaking of children's book drawings, can't figure out how the wood pieces are crossed. Okay, hold on. I'll answer that one real first. All I did was I drew the cross ones. I drew those first, and I just drew them on top. So if I turn off if I turn off this layer mask, I'm going to disable it. I drew them like that. And then I created I added a layer mask to it. And I duplicated the same layer and I put it under my light wood. So when I got rid of the crosses, I just masked them out. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to explain it so it makes sense. Okay, and then speaking of children's book drawings, when you make the illustrations in Photoshop, do you draw them in RGB or CMYK? I always draw them in RGB, and I don't think that's probably what I'm supposed to do, but I just like that the colors are a lot more vibrant. And I think printers are at a point now where they can print RGB. I know when I've uploaded pieces to places like Printful and such, they ask for RGB. Is Photoshop better in terms of variety for brushes? I've been drawing in Illustrator, but I'm wondering if I should switch over and try Photoshop. Are there ways to get more brushes in Illustrator? I can't answer that because I don't know for sure about Illustrator. I don't really use it more than just needing to vector anything out. And that's a rare thing. Yes, okay, so you see how there's a few spots here where the mask is getting in the way. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna duplicate this mask, or this clipping mask. I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna bring it down to the under layer here, and I'm going to apply it. And then that should put it on both layers, and it should look pretty pulled together now. But when it comes, printers still use CMYK ink, but yeah, most of them will accept RGB color space values. Yeah, and generally, like if you are sending it to print, you want to have like Pantone values that you can match it to, but they can't, they can color match. If you tell them this is what I want it to look like, they can, like, printmaking shops can look at it and say that they'll go and they can physically adjust the levels to make it look like how you're hoping it looks. And that's what, like, pre-press, that's what press checks and stuff are for, because you go in for the press check and you sign off on your colors. What's up, Shauna? I'm mostly lurking as I'm trying to be productive. That's totally fine, Lost Rest. I'm pretty sure you're one of the Creative South crew. I just don't know who. Yeah, and I like artboards. I think there's something like, I'll convert this real quick to, I'm going to put it back in RGB, but if I do it in CMYK, it doesn't change it all that much, thankfully. But there's times when I use really bright colors that it does change it. And it is a very heavy difference. So we're going to save. Make sure you're saving. So where was I? Now that I've added in color. Okay, I'm going to go back to I'm using my own personal pencil for this. I'm going to select this color. I'm going to just start adding this back. I'm going to go down first because that'll be easier just to keep my pen going the same way. Then here. Hey Erica, how are you? Yeah, and like I have but when you work in CMYK, you decide how it will look, not the printer guy. Yeah, but there's like times on I've had trouble getting my brights to be bright enough. I do, however, I have a printer that has 6 colors, so I get the black, cyan, magenta, yellow, light, cyan, light, magenta, and I think light yellow, so it might have 7 colors. It's a pain in the butt to keep locked, but that does help as far as like printer values and such. But I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had a problem yet printing in RGB. I know it's not like the technical correct thing, but I haven't had trouble yet. So if you're mass printing like a book, it's usually CMYK, but digital usually still works better with RGB source. Yeah. Oh, hey, Joseph. Okay. I feel like I should have known that because I feel like I remember you did change your handle and stuff online. How you, friend? A lot of print-on-demand places want PNG for the transparency file size. Also, a lot of high-end inkjet-based printers have 8-color ink system that approximates RGB. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I've got going on. Yeah, anytime I've uploaded things to Printful, they generally want like a PNG if you're doing transparency. Otherwise, a JPEG suffices. If I'm doing transparency and I'm able to make it an EPS in Illustrator, I will generally try to use that because then I keep control of my file. I don't worry about anything translating weird in the digitizing. So like if I'm doing embroidery or anything, I do try to provide it as a flattened or as an EPS. And if there's text, it's all outlined. Yeah, I remember you. I remember you. There is no RGB print process. What did I do? Your printer is taking your file and printing with a converted CMYK. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is pretty much, what it is. But like a lot of the online places, I think Society 6 is one where they want RGB files, and Printful seems to want RGB files. So all these places want RGB files, and I don't know exactly why. But I know anything that I've uploaded to Society 6 generally has been RGB color space. All right, so here's where we are at so far with our F. I'm gonna turn off the sketch. So that's right where it is right now. It's looking pretty good. I'm really happy with how it's looking. I don't know, like I have a really bad habit of getting too detailed and doing too much detail, and so I'm still in a weird place where I'm kind of figuring out my style when it comes to illustration, because I tended to overdo versus like scale myself back. But yeah, so we're running with it though. We're going to get the F done for sure. We're going to get the F done for sure. I like it. If you guys are over on, if you guys are over chatting on YouTube, we're all chatting on Behance. So come join us over in be.net/live because that's where the fun party is. Let me go in and fix where I'm missing some of these. So what are you guys drawing? Like, are you participating? Are you picking a letter? Are you sticking with what the number should technically be today? I'm glad we have people that know why K is this number, the letter for black, because I sure didn't know that. I had a pre-press teacher who showed us videos from the 80s, and he was supposed to take us on a press run, and he never did. And he had a very thick accent, so I spent half the class very confused. I didn't go on a press check until I was an intern, and my art director said, she had turned to me and she's like, do you want to go on a press check? So I was like, have you ever been on one? I said, I was supposed to in college. They never took us when I was in pre-press class. They never took us. She goes, you want to go? I was like, yes, I do. And it was really fun because I'd never been on one. So when we got there, she told our press check guy, she's like, she's never been to a press check before. Can we do a tour of the facility? He goes, yes, of course we can. So I got to go on a tour of this whole facility like while I was an intern on a press check run, and then I got to see how the press check ran and how to do it. It was really cool. Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. Places that want RGB files for printing are wanting them because they're smaller files as they lack one channel in the file. They do convert to CMYK for separations as they have to. See, I didn't know that. That's great. That's things I didn't. I'm learning things because I didn't know that. I just send my file off and hope for the best. Okay, so I have these lines here. So now I got to go in, rotate my canvas again. And I'm going to select this color just so I'm guaranteed to stay consistent. And I'm going to keep just drawing these lines in. Because drawing wood is a ton of fun. I'm thinking more and more about doing the 36 days of type challenge, but I'm not sure if I've missed the time. I mean, technically they're on the number 1 today. You could do it whenever you want. I mean, no one's saying that you couldn't do that in like October. You know, you can do 36 days of type whenever. I'm embarrassingly behind, so I'm playing catch up, but I'm also doing way more detail than I have in the past. But it's been really fun to see like what other people are doing. So I've seen some illustrators pop in that I'm like, why are you not doing lettering? Because this is surprisingly really, really good. I'm going the opposite way. I did a lot of lettering, but I feel more like an illustrator, and I've always felt more like an illustrator than a letterer. So now I'm making that transition over to this space. And then playing a lot of catch up that I should have probably done in my 20s, but I didn't. So now I'm in my 30s, playing catch up, trying to do new things. Okay, I'm gonna reset the view here. So I'm liking how that's looking. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to select this lighter color. And I'm going to open my color picker and I'm going to drop the color down just a hair. Because what we want it to do is when I draw this in, I don't want it to be too harsh. And it looks like I got the right color, so I'm really happy about that. Playing catch up, right. Reminds me of another SpongeBob quote. Is mayonnaise an instrument? My sister and I say that to each other a lot. She does yoga. I'm like, is yoga an instrument? Thanks for the tip with this Adobe sketch. Yeah, you're welcome. Shauna, drawing with a tablet. Which one? I use the Cintiq 24 HD tablet. My posture actually is really not really good right now. Normally I would sit like this, but my keyboard's way over here. It's not usually way over here. But what I like about this particular tablet is it actually comes with a remote that I don't often use, but you can program all your stuff into the remote. So you can literally just sit here and be like, click, 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 click. I don't do it all that often because I'm so set in my keystrokes that I have to adjust it and reset it. But this also has a stand you can buy, which is what I went for. So I have an adjustable stand. So I can lay this flatter or higher. And I've recently, because of how bad my posture gets when I work, I've had to sit it up higher. But I also have a dog in my lap. So that's adjusting my posture a bit too. Because I can't just like sit back. I'm like leaning over him as well. Normally my arm would be able to sit a little lower, but I would be resting on his head. And I don't want to do that because that would make him very upset. And really, if we have animals, you know that you have to contort yourself into awkward positions to make your animal comfortable. You can also turn on gamut warning in the same menu to show major color shifts. Shows as a gray flat space for out of gamut colors. Still work in RGB, then convert as last step. Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have to try that because converting to RGB will always shift colors, sometimes massively. You can turn on CMYK preview while still in RGB. View proof colors. You know what? Let's try that. View proof colors. Oh, I mean, it doesn't seem like it did much. That's nice. And then I can just turn it off. That's actually really good to know. Oh, okay. This, you'll see it more here. So on my reference images, watch specifically, watch this pink. It dulls it down. And that's because there's an RGB magenta, really bright magenta happening here that you can't, I don't think is like printable. But that's interesting. That's good to know because now I'm going to use that like crazy. You should check which proofing setup you're using. Proof setup, working CMYK. Yeah, so I think that's what I should be in, correct? I am watching with my Chihuahua. What's your Chihuahua's name? I like dogs. I'm a big dog fan. But that's great. There's a lot of things that like I feel like I should know, but I really don't. I've never really paid attention to. So I'm learning things and I'm feeling humbled because there are things that like I said, I should know. I've been out of school for 10 years. I should know this stuff. And I just don't. But, and especially given that I've been working in Photoshop since I was about 13. So I'm coming up on about 19 years, almost 18, 19 years of Photoshop. I was like 13 or 14 when I first started using it. But when you only do, certain things in it, like you really don't think to expand and try other stuff. But it's come so far from when I first started. Because when I first started, I drew things with a mouse. How are we doing on time? 10:37 my time. So we've got about, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can math. 37 is here. I have to sign off here. We got about 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Samson, that's a good dog name. I have Teddy Bear. But I'm really happy. Like, I may not get the flowers done today, but we are at least going to get the wood done, and you guys can see how I render wood. And it's really fun. And actually, I almost think someone wanted to know how you render like a piece of wood, and I'm just going to quickly, because I love doing it. You start with a light color. You start with, just do like a really hard edge brush. You're going to make a square. This will be on replay, so if you need to do it, check it later, you can. You're going to fill it in. I'm deviating a little from 36 days, but this is a good, if you're trying to render something out to look like wood, this is a really good way to do it. So you're going to create a clipping mask. So you can either right click on your layer and click create clipping mask, or you can use Alt and click the layer. And yeah, I've got floppy disks. I think all of mine are gone. I'm going to use Kyle's New Pastel. Where is that? Here we go. New Pastel 27 from his dry media pack. I'm going to take a lighter color. Oh, I don't like that lighter color. So I'm going to select this and I'm just going to raise it a little bit. And I'm just going to draw some like random lines in here. You just want to add some nice texture. Now we're going to create another clipping mask. Go back to our hard edge brush. So whatever brush you want to use, it can have texture, whichever. And you're going to take a darker color. And you're just going to draw lines of varying widths down your piece of wood. You can create like a little wood knot right here, come through here. You want to have some varying degrees of lines. So here's where this gets really fun. You're going to go back to your original layer. You are going to use this little button down here that is a square with a circle in it. You're going to create a mask. You're going to zoom in. Using black, you're going to take your brush down in size and you're going to just draw little half circles where the dark wood meets the edge. Where the dark wood meets the edge. Clipping masks are so fun. I didn't use clipping masks ever until I started watching my friend Sid Weiler's stream. And the first time she did that, I was like, what is that? And she was, clipping masks. Do you not know about clipping masks? And so she was teaching everyone in her stream how to do clipping masks. And I was like, life changer. I remember when you flatten layers, there's no turning back. I think I had layers when I first started in Photoshop, but it was like very limited in terms of like what you could do. But I remember we had to remake a piece of art, and that was, I painted what was her name? It's a female artist. I can see it on the edge of my brain. It'll come to me at some point. But yeah, we had to remake it. So I did this portrait of these like 4 women sitting there with a mouse. I did not finish it. I still got credit because my professor looked at the thing I chose and she's like, yeah, most people were doing just like the wave, the Japanese woodcut wave. You're fine. I was like, okay, we're just going to run with that. All right, so you're going to create another layer. You're going to add another clipping mask. So you see how that's already starting to kind of look like wood? So now you're going to drop down, you're going to go to your color picker, you're going to pull a darker color, and you're just going to like outline along some of these, along the edge of some of these lines. Shauna, aka Singular, it's a problem. I watched Frozen 2 recently, and I love the music. I'm waiting to see Onward, where my sister and I are waiting till Friday when it comes out on Disney Plus, and we're gonna make a big bowl of popcorn and we're gonna watch it. And then she said, if I love it, we're watching it 20 more times. And I said, deal. And so you don't have to do all your lines. You can be very selective with your wood. And then once you've done that, I'm gonna add a little bit down here too. You're gonna create a new layer, and this is gonna be a nice edge one. So I'm gonna use a texture brush. I'm gonna grab a darker color. That one grayed out too much. I'm gonna use a color picker again, and I'm just gonna pull this down, and I'm just gonna start drawing along the edge, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of dimension. Draw some lines in here. You just be very sporadic with your lines. I know this is deviating a bit from 36 Days of Type, but I promise it's useful. Then I can actually add a little more dark in here because you can go a little deeper with your color. You can push it a bit further. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to grab my original color, or the lighter color is what it's going to probably grab. I'm going to lighten it even more, and I'm just going to start drawing some nice light lines all through this. I can add some up here where the edges are. Bum, 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 dun, dun, dun. And there you have wood. Ta-da! I canceled my Disney Plus because I don't see enough new content. They're adding on words. So I guess yeah, I love Disney Plus. It'll be on Onward will be on there on Friday. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, that's how you draw a piece of wood. All right, so that took me a few minutes. So we've got about, 10 minutes till I have to end. So probably about 7 minutes before I got to wrap things up. So you can see with this, like I could deepen the colors a little bit more, and I just might later on. But for the time being, I'm just going to start adding in some highlights real quick. Just really, really simple. Turn my canvas, and I'm just going to, kind of like what we just did with the wood, just add a few highlights here and there just to give it a little more dimension. Loving all those mid-90s cartoons of my childhood is enough for me. Yeah, the Proud Family was on there, and I've started binge watching that. I love it so much. I've also been watching the old Disney movies like Cinderella and stuff, because now that I'm older, I'm paying more attention to like the background work, because it is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. So I watch a lot of that for research, but also to make my inner child very happy. Hint, hint, smart object, lifesaver. Yeah, I do use smart objects, but not so often as I would like to. It just doesn't work with my work as much. Yeah, but I do like it. I wish I had Command Z to save my behind back then. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I even had like an undo, or if I did, it was like a very limited amount of undo states that you had. I started in Photoshop 6, so that may have had an undo button at that point. Okay, I'm going to grab this color. I'm going to bump this up. Draw in here. Yeah, looking at this now, like if I were to redo this, I would probably make these a little thicker. I'd probably make this overall, all these wood slats a lot thicker, but you know, say la vie. Since starting to watch the live feeds of Behance yesterday, didn't even know Behance was a thing until yesterday, I am realizing how little I know about Photoshop. Oh, trust me too. There are so many things that I feel like I've barely scratched the surface on Photoshop when it comes to like what it's fully capable of, because I do photo retouching on the side, and there's even so much in that I've learned to do. I'll often use like YouTube tutorials to just get to figure things out. I think my dog is dreaming on my lap, you guys. I feel him twitching. All right, how are your letters coming? What do you guys make? Are you going to share them on Behance? Are you going to share them on your... Oh, he's definitely dreaming. His whole head is twitching. Oh my God. My heart. Are you going to share your letters? I will share mine. More than likely, I'm going to share mine later today. Once I finish it. I miss this guy, and I miss this guy. All right, I'm going to turn off my sketch real quick just so we can see where we're at. I'm going to group all of these. This whole F. I'm just going to group the whole shebang here, because... So that's where this is at. I'm not unhappy with it. There are little things I might add, like a couple highlights here and there. Like I'll figure out where there's going to be a point, like a sun point. So it's either going to come from here or it's going to come from here. And oh, he just woke up. And then I'm going to add some like highlights along the tops of some of these. Yes, Jesus is fantastic. But so the best thing you can do, like if you're doing something like this, is to determine a lighting source. So like if it's here, you're going to pretend you've got like a sun here, and you're just going to draw it in. And so if you have like a fake, just like have a layer like this, so you can remember where your lighting is coming from, that will help you immensely. Yeah, so I'm going to go in That was my wood. I'm going to turn this back on. I'm just going to see if I can quickly get a leaf in before I have to call it a day. Because leaves are fun. I'm going to try, how does this color look? I tend to, so I gravitate towards these like really olive greens. I think they're just so pretty. It's like a yellow green or an olive green. I gravitate towards those. They're so nice. You did an awesome job. Can't wait to see it when finished. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to finish it up today. I'm going to take a quick breakfast break when I get off here. Increase the size of this. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick breakfast break and then I'm going to get back to working on this because I think it's going to work out really well. But I also have to got to do D and E still too because I'm just behind. I am just behind. There's a lot of Jesus Ramirez and Behance private. Yeah, definitely give Jesus a watch and a follow because he does things in Photoshop that I didn't even know were possible. And he does them just like, oh yeah, it's just this, it's easy. And I'm like, I've never even seen that before. Don't work hungry. Oh no, I had half a slice of banana bread before this, so I'm doing pretty good. I need eggs and protein. I love doing these like super wavy leaves. They're so fun. They look so good in the sketch, and I don't know if I'm gonna render them correctly. But we're gonna try. We are gonna try our darndest. I just like to hang out with you guys here. Good, we're fun people. Yeah, don't forget there are a bunch of great streams coming up. Following mine is the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge with Voodoo Val. And then after her is Painting with Anna Davis-Court, who was popping into our chat for a while. So definitely make sure you tune in for those and stick around for everybody because there's going to be some really great feeds all day. Great creative content all day because we love what we do. And there's going to be new stuff starting tomorrow, so keep an eye out. This was my last stream this week, so I will hopefully see you guys again sometime. Oh yeah, if someone's asking what I'm using a 24-inch Cintiq tablet. Oh my god, how did you get your colors to display like that, or do they do that automatically and change the position in that panel? I think they'll adjust depending like how wide you have it. It's a very satisfying look, that's for sure. But I don't know which palette this is, to be honest. It's just one I have loaded in here. I'm gonna turn, where's that sun? I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna turn off our sketch. So this is where we're gonna be ending today. I am really happy with how this is turning out. I'm going to keep pushing it. I'm going to add some detail to the letters. I'm going to be adding in like grass, and it's going to be just, I'm going to keep it very, very simple. Because I don't think it needs a ton of detail in that to read as grass. Like it's going to be very simple. Hi, Doc. How are you? Sleeping Beauty was the one that made me fall in love with the background art of movies. Yeah, it's some of those movies are just incredible. They're fantastic. But yeah, like, so thank you guys so much for joining me today. We're gonna call it a day here. Stick around. Here's Teddy Bear. He says goodbye. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I had a fantastic time and I hope you guys did too. Make sure you stick around for the rest of the stream, and I hope you had fun with me. I had fun with you. I hope you had fun with me. We're gonna just like have fun together. So stick around. Hey, Paco. Everyone say bye to Teddy. He's been a very good boy. And tune in and keep an eye out on my Behance. Hopefully I'll be able to post this later. So You guys have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me. I had a great time. Bye.